150, or no, 950 games before we retired. When you win, it solves a lot of problems, and you don't have to deal with the headache. Job solves a lot of problems, and then let's negotiate. Yes.
Mike, is our county solvent considering our bond obligations right now?
I pray that it is. I'm not going to answer the question directly until I get in. I'm not going to address specifics. I'm a deeply steeped financial guy. I'm eager to roll my sleeves up, but at the moment, I have not focused my attention on evaluating the details. I've led organizations that's responsible for $3 billion, I'm sorry, $3 billion worth of bonds that were floated on Wall Street. It was my job as financial controller for Georgia Power for 10 years. I understand that business at its depth. I don't know the answer to your question. I've got to be a candidate first, or I'm not going to get a chance to answer your question, Phil. I'm going to put that on my list so that within 1 month, that's so important, I could answer you with informed intelligence. I don't have the informed now. I've got the budget. I should have brought it in this morning. And in my spare time, as Barry knows, there's not much of that. We started a North American campaign last weekend. Guess what the first house just randomly I knocked on? You know, I pulled up the computer list and got out of the car and saw this address. Didn't have a clue where it was, except in the backyard where I hunted possums as a boy. And I walk up the doorsteps and see the name. Wow, his was the first door that I knocked on. That's a metaphor for this campaign. Judge me by my friends, but I'm sorry I missed y'all. Y'all were off doing God's work at your seminar. I'm sorry, Phil. I'm not evading the question. There are just too many questions that are overriding for me to give specifics on the specific budget. I'm not going to say what I'm going to cut, but zero-based budgeting is the present phrase. Done that many times. It's going to start there.
Mike, knowing that you're trying to kind of turn around a cruise ship, and also knowing and recognizing that at least with SPLOST dollars, your hands are going to be tied, or whoever takes office is going to, their hands are going to be tied for a very significant portion of time. How can you make the appropriate infrastructure moves? How can you make the appropriate costly moves to actually grow the county?
Thank you, Chuck. SPLOST. Blessing and a curse. If we make this transition from the platform that Emerson is going to give our county, we have a new front door. I don't want to offend you folks from Altoona, but from the south, looking at Clark County for years, Altoona, the problems that resulted from us not having zoning in place until about 5 years too late resulted in our front door being a definition for our county. Emerson's now going to be the front door. It's going to define the future and what's going to happen. And we've got an obligation to help Altoona, and I've got a task force put together. We're going to do that over time, incrementally help solve the previous problems there. And I just lost sight of the focal point by setting that up. The central point was SPLOST. If we move to more tourism-based economy, which that platform will provide, my philosophical objections to some of the past abuses of SPLOST will be tested. We have 100,000 people driving through our county along I-75. Until recent months, the city of Cartersville didn't even decide to put billboards up out on the interstate to let them know of how special a downtown we've got here. Come spend your money. Half of those 100,000 counties are half, I'm exaggerating. A very sizable percentage of those 100,000 cars are folks that are on their way to Florida. If we can get them to stop and spend their money here, that's going to result in a reduced millage rate. SPLOST is a wonderful vehicle, if indeed that occurs, that will allow us to do that. I'm about millage rate, not here up, here down. So SPLOST is potentially a very vital thing. Praise the Lord, it was already voted on now, and I don't need to address it. So I could talk about a continuation of SPLOST, not being a tax increase, but it's got to be looked at hard. I don't like the way the last SPLOST was done. I consider there are a lot of smoke and mirrors in there just to get it passed. And I understand the political expediency of that, But philosophically, at my core, I disagree with that entirely. When you read through that bill, you didn't know what that money was going to, because it was smoking, the words were used to obscure the real purpose, to ensure that in a low turnout election, it got passed. I understand that from a businessman's point of view. We've got tough decisions to make, and I want to make those decisions so we don't have to do that kind of thing. Who's next? We got 4 minutes, maybe? Lewis? Yes, sir, Fred.
What's your opinion on Freeport?
We need to bump it to 100%. It's at 80%, and we need to go to 100. See if cars moving in the right direction. Don't know why that's been such a long, drawn-out problem. Don't know, don't have a clue. These spreadsheets that I put together years ago that had 50 factors, that was always one of the factors that we looked at with these folks I talked about that excluded communities. When you're in this business of looking for jobs to come, in the job that I had, and I had hair and I did wear a suit, lived out of the airport more than I did at home, but my job was to eliminate counties from prospective job locations, not to find out which one to come, because you got 1,000 opportunities. Freeport was always one of those that took you off the list. They wouldn't even know Bartow County existed.
I didn't hear the question, so I don't know.
Freeport is now at an 80% exemption on manufacturing inventory. I think it needs to go to 100%, and that would be, I'll find out the mechanisms to do that if I'm honored by being there. Again, it's premature, like Phil's question. I'm a candidate, not the commissioner. Commissioner Brown is commissioner. President.
One more question, anybody?
Could I ask Jan a question?
Ah.
How do you feel about the idea of your husband being commissioner?
I love it. I think he has the experience. It's been an exciting time. I think he's the man for the job.
You're with him?
I'm with him 100%.
You wouldn't have met me if she hadn't been.